We didn't know the injury was nearly as bad as it was. They weren't being truthful with us. And as far as we're concerned, Betty, they were trotting out a horrible player every week, which is also inexcusable.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsulias. He's Brian McKeon. No, we didn't plan our outfits today. It just so happens that we're both wearing black t-shirts. It happens from time to time. We're both lifelong Yankee fans, and we've been hosting the show together for now 2 regular seasons. Isn't that amazing? Crazy.
I guess so.
Yeah, time flies. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app, so download the app today. Coming up on today's show, we'll tell you what's been happening so far in the ALCS and NLCS. We'll talk about Max Scherzer because there was some funny stuff coming out of that game that happened on Thursday, so we have to talk about that in segment 3. But first, it's Fan Mail Friday. If you're new to the show, we do Fan Mail Friday every week, or at least we try to do Fan Mail Friday every week. We have our Locked On Yankees insiders asking us questions. We have our YouTube viewers asking us questions. We always start with our insiders, and we always start with Betty. It's a 2-year-long tradition now that we've been doing with Betty. So here is Betty's question. I loved your show about Volpe's injury and the questions about why he played through it. Regardless of how it did or did not affect his fielding, throwing, and hitting, and given the fact that he is clearly their golden boy, I like him a lot, but I like clean play better. Do you think the following question needs to be asked point blank? Knowing that he was injured, why did you keep Volpe in a situation where the fans booed him? He deserved better.
I'll say this, Betty, and this is not necessarily to go against your opinion, but what says that he deserved better? Like point blank, like we'll ask it that way. What has he achieved? This isn't Derek Jeter who was playing through an injury.
No. She means he deserves better than being trotted out there in order to get booed because he can't play because he's injured.
I thought she was asking why does he deserve better as a
No, he deserves better treatment. No. He deserves better treatment because he was clearly injured and they kept trotting him out there only for him to be booed by people because he was not performing right.
Yeah, but their mindset, Cashman did say that Volpe kept saying he was fine. So that in part is on Volpe then if he kept telling everyone that he was okay. And
don't they know by now? Because Rizzo kept saying he was fine, and then he had to retire because his head wasn't right.
So did Clint Frazier, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll say this though, if the player keeps saying he's fine, what are you supposed to do as an organization? Like you can't keep telling him he's not fine when he's saying he is. If he wants to play. Also, Boone swore that this injury had nothing to do with his productivity on the field.
So then he just stinks. And they were just trotting him. So they were just trotting him out there, a bad player out there, and allowing this to happen to him.
Which, by the way,
had other options.
Which, by the way, is right on line with what they allowed us to believe throughout the entire season. Remember, we weren't aware of Anthony Volpe's injury.
Right. We just thought he was awful.
Yeah, we just thought he was playing terrible. So they led us to believe that the entire season, and it's the exact thing that we were going with throughout the year. So we didn't know the injury was nearly as bad as it was. They weren't being truthful with us, and as far as we're concerned, Betty, they were trotting out a horrible player every week, which is also inexcusable.
Right.
But that's what they were doing. It had nothing to do with the injury, unless you talk to Brian Cashman. Really weird how the team just flip-flopped on what they thought. I don't know.
It's I know I call them embarrassing all the time, but they are because they don't get
this one's bad.
This is bad. It's
having both leaders of your organization on complete opposite sides of, and this is what's funny too. They weren't up there together. Brian Cashman very easily could have watched Boone's press conference from a room behind and just heard everything Boone heard to just try and stay in line with what Boone's saying. They didn't even bother to do that. It looks so bad being on opposite sides of this discussion. It really, really does. Let's go to David F. He says, given that both of you have attended many Yankee games, what are your favorite Yankee Stadium moments that you've witnessed in person?
I'm going to say, because we talked about games that we've gone to, but moments, as a whole, right? I will say I was there for Moose's Hall of Fame day. That was cool. I had tears in my eyes as he was going around the field, and Brett Gardner and Mike Ford went back to back to walk off that day, which was fun against the A's. It was Sean Manaea against Jay Happ.
Wow.
And it was
What a
actually
matchup.
it was actually a pitcher's duel until like the 7th inning when they took Happ out, and then the bullpen coughed up some runs, and the Yankees were down 4-1 at one point. They got it to 4-3 in the 8th, and then they won 5-4 in the 9th with the solo home runs. But being there for Moose's Hall of Fame day, and not only that, a listener got me the ticket because he knew how much I loved Moose, and he said, "I will get you a ticket." I said, "You don't have to do that for me." He's like, "No, I'm going to do that for you." He got me a seat in the 200 section.
Wow, that's generous.
Yes, between first base and the foul pole. I was in the 200 section, which is my favorite section in Yankee Stadium. And just seeing Moose going around the stadium and then having the game turn out the way it did, that was a cool moment for me. Yeah.
I don't know if I have a favorite moment. Like, I've been to big games and everything like that, but I haven't been to a lot of those kind of ceremonial days. I would probably just say my first World Series game last year, even though they got clubbed and Freddie Freeman hit a home run off them in that game. Like, it was just cool to be in the building for a World Series. That was the first time I have ever been to a championship game in like a major professional sport. So that was pretty cool to experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say my first World Series game was pretty fun too. They ended up beating the Mets in that game in, was it the 12th inning? Jose Vizcaino got
wow.
that
You didn't go to any of the 96, 98, 99 ones?
No.
Wow.
I was supposed, please don't get me started. I was supposed to be at game 6 in 96. My mom didn't tell me my dad had a ticket for me because she thought it was silly for me to fly down for one day to see a game. And I still have not forgiven her for that.
Yeah, you would have done that knowing you. You would have walked if that you had to.
Yes, there was People's Express still existed back then. I could have gone on the little People's Express teeny tiny plane from Syracuse to New York and gone to the game, but no. And she didn't tell me till after the game.
I'm going to pretend that I know what that is.
Yeah. Oh, it's an old airline that has been around since. Actually, wait, I don't think People's Express was still around. It may have been extinct in the late 80s, but yeah. Like a plane like that, a little dinky little puddle jumper that would have taken me from Syracuse to Newark or LaGuardia, who knows? Yeah, I still haven't forgiven my mom for that. Do you blame me?
No, I don't.
No one would blame me.
That's a rough one.
All right. Our next question is from Shalid. We haven't had a question from Shalid in a while. He asks, why do you think they let players play when they are clearly hurt and not hitting? Why not bring someone up or move things around? I feel like it hurts the player and the team in the long run.
There's multiple reasons for this. I mean, you're not going to bring a player up and hurt that player's development to aid someone else who's not playing well. You that's not worth doing, because now you're killing two birds without even throwing a stone. You're just killing two birds. So that doesn't make sense. I don't, and also teams value starting guys' clocks, and it's not worth starting a player's clock because a guy at the major league level can't perform at the moment. It's not worth doing, and we've seen it before. In baseball, more than any other sport, it almost hurts these guys more to get called up too early than it does to call them up too late. Just because their development, they lose a lot of confidence in themselves, and it can go downhill from there.
But they wouldn't have had to call anyone up. They would have just had to move people around. At the point where Volpe first got hurt, they wouldn't have had to call anyone up. They had two guys who could have played the infield.
Well, see, but is that? Yeah, I mean, I can't answer what the organization does though. Like calling guys up. There was no one really to call up. They weren't calling Lombard up at this point, so
no,
there wasn't really anyone to call up. That's my point on why they don't just call guys up to fix a problem. It's not a.
And with the Volpe situation, it would have been a move around situation where you would have moved Jazz from third to second, put Peraza at third, put Cabrera at shortstop. Done.
But now you're messing with your entire team, and you're messing up with Jazz, who is a better second baseman.
But they ended up doing that anyway.
Well, not. They kept him at second base all year.
They had him at third to start, and then they put him at second.
Well, remember? Yeah, but that was because of the injury. That wasn't because of Volpe.
No, but I'm saying if Volpe is taken out, if Jazz was still playing third, he would move to second. You put Peraza at third and Cabrera at shortstop.
Yeah, I mean, we're going back and forth with the same argument. You can't hurt another guy's play because someone else isn't holding up their end of the bargain. You have to let everyone kind of mold into their own way and let Volpe stink, but don't let Jazz suffer because Volpe's suffering. Like, you can't, I don't know. And I also don't think, I think this is a common misconception with fans. I'm not going at you, Shalita. I'm just going at in general. A lot of us grow up, watching high school baseball, little league, whatever it is, from a coaching perspective or being around the game closely, thinking that you can just plug and play players wherever. It's not that simple at the major league level. We have this argument all the time with the guys that are slowing down on the outfield. Oh, we'll just put him at first base. It doesn't work like that. You don't just get to, you can't put Aaron Judge at first base. The same way, we know Jazz Chisholm Jr. is a really good infielder, right? You can't just throw him at shortstop and have him figure it out. We learned over the last year and a half, you can't just throw him at third base and have him figure it out because he wasn't a good third baseman. Like, it isn't that simple as it is at the younger levels where you can just kind of plug a player and play third base one inning and first base the next inning. So there is a little bit of that in there too. Like, you sometimes you don't have options of just throwing a guy at this position because, hey, he fills that spot. It doesn't necessarily always work. You know what I mean? So I don't know. They were in a tough spot this year, and they clearly didn't want to give up on Volpe. They clearly didn't want to admit that the guy was too hurt to be playing at a productive level. So this is the case. We can't sit here and answer why they didn't do certain things because we're as confused as you guys are. Trust me. We're going to combine these two questions because they're kind of asking the same thing. So I'm going to ask both of them at the same time. They're both from, one of them's from Matt V. The other one's from Eric S. The first one's from Matt V. He asks, if the Yankees re-sign Bellinger or sign Tucker long-term, would that make Dominguez or Jones expendable? Which one would you trade? Or would you keep both? And then Eric S. says, could you see signing Bellinger and Tucker and perhaps trading the Martian and Jones? What that would be? No. But go ahead, Stacey.
Yeah, I put these together because I didn't want to exclude anyone this week. And I figured, all right, we'll group them together because it's basically the same question being asked. I don't see them signing both Bellinger and Tucker. That is so much. That's going to be so much money.
That would be, I would guess at minimum a $600 million investment for two players.
For
They're
two
not
players.
Doing that.
No, definitely not. If it were one or the other, I don't really think it makes Dominguez expendable. I think the person who's expendable might be Trent Grisham, right?
Well, you got to remember not you, but in general, you have to remember there's two outfield positions open right now. There's left field and center field. So not both of those guys. Dominguez.
I mean, not really, because okay, they claim that Dominguez, he has the lane for left field.
Can we not use that word until April, please?
I know. That I think Dominguez is going to be left field. I don't think they're going to screw that up. I think they want him to play winter ball. He's going to work more on left field. I think he was getting a little better at it, but then they took him out and didn't play him for like the last 2 months of the season. I think that he's so young that he still has time to work on things. And I don't think they should give up on him because his bat is going to be too good for them to do that. I really think that they have something in him that they can untap. I also think that they shouldn't depend on him to be a switch hitter. I think they should just have him be a lefty since he doesn't do so well from the right side of the plate. He should concentrate. Is that they are
a little lefty heavy at this point, though. Like,
I know. Yeah, I understand that, but that's their fault.
And we discussed this earlier too, by the way, just to tag this in before we break here. They've dug their own hole with Spencer Jones.
Yeah.
And they've done this now for years. They don't want to call him up because of the chase rate, no matter what Cashman says. I don't think Cashman said that he was in major league consideration this year. I don't think that's true. Maybe they had a conversation or two about that. I don't think that's true.
Chase rate and strikeout rate. He's going to be striking out 50% of the time if he comes up to major leagues.
So like, I don't know what the lane. I just used it. I don't know what the lane is for Spencer Jones.
Right.
I don't like. They haven't made it obvious right now. They're not going to have him play right field. I don't know if he's going to play center at the major league level. It's a big jump from AAA to the major league level. Right. I don't know what the jump is, but at the end of the day, he's in AA right now. You have to pull the trigger on one of these processes at some point and trade one of these guys. You can't have 5 outfielders.
No, Jones was up at triple, wasn't he? Wasn't he up
at a point, but he finished the year down in Somerset.
Yeah.
You have to trade one of they can't keep holding on to prospects year after year after year and not making a move for a significant player. Dominguez or Jones will be the centerpiece in a really, really big major league trade. You have to do that at some point.
Right. All right. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. You can also listen to us on every podcasting platform available. We also have a TikTok. Follow us there at LockedOn_Yankees. Coming up next, answering more of your FanMail Friday questions.
This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Every day we make decisions, but on PrizePicks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. Playing PrizePicks is such a fun, simple way to add more excitement to your football season. You just pick more or less on player projections like Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon's rushing yards, and you're in the game. Now, I love how quick it is. You can make your lineup in just under a minute. And my favorite part is PrizePicks just added the stacks feature. So if I want to ride with a player, I can select their passing yards, rushing yards, and touchdowns, all available in one lineup. And are you new to the injury reboot feature? If a player leaves early and doesn't return, it won't count against you. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code ONEWORD-LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code ONEWORD-LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Stacey trucking along on this FanMail Friday. Stacey, this one's from Natasha. She wants to leave 2 comments. A pet peeve of hers. I really hate when the Dodgers get on base and swing their hands to the left. Like, it makes me feel sick. And the worst image of 2025, that dumb Marlin shark dancing with the broom after they swept the Yankees. Okay, I feel better. Actually, it's to the right, but still, yeah, I'd agree with you.
Hey.
That series wound up being huge, that Marlin sweep, by the way.
I know, yeah.
That especially that first game of that series where the bullpen couldn't get it out. I mean,
Right.
that's the difference in the division. They could be playing right now if it weren't for that series. I mean,
well,
we try not to overreact over regular season games, but hard not to overreact over that one.
Depends on how they were hitting in the division series.
Very
true. But thank you for the comments. And from this point on, I said it earlier in the week, but if you don't have a question, but you have a comment, and you want to just say something funny, say something about the show, say something about the Yankees, about baseball in general, we'll read it off and we'll have a discussion about it, because that'll make the show fun
we
too.
We can spin it into a topic, trust us.
Yeah. All right, our next statement, and it's called FanMail Friday Statements from Richard S. Yesterday, meaning Thursday, once again proved that Cashman is an arrogant twit, and Hal doesn't care enough like his father did. What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
All right. I've seen this narrative given out a bunch of times throughout the offseason as it started. Again, we need to have a full episode on this, on Hal's care level, because I don't think he doesn't care. I can't sit here and hear that. Maybe he's not as maniacal as Steinbrenner, but as George. But there's no way of knowing that George's formula would work nowadays. There isn't, and we're never going to find that out. So regardless, there'd be no Dominguez and Jones, I can tell you that. Right. Yes, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. And I agree with you to a point.
We might not even have Aaron Judge if George were still around.
Agreed. I want to say this, though. Let's not let it escape us that, you said something and it got caught in my head.
Sorry.
That they would have Bryce Harper, though. So that is what bothers me, and Manny Machado. They would both be in pinstripes. So
right.
I just had to add that in with the Aaron Judge comment. The insanity thing, I get it, but we have to also stop at the same time. Has it been acceptable? No. We also have to stop acting like the Yankees have won like 77 games the last 3 or 4 years.
Right.
They still are a 90+ win team, and they're in the postseason every single year. There's a lot of fan bases that would kill for the level of
right. And isn't it funny when other fan bases make fun of the Yankees for getting eliminated from the division series, especially when their teams don't even make the playoffs?
Exactly.
It's kind of hilarious to me that people do that.
We need to have like a full breakdown of that at some point when we're deeper into the postseason. But I did hear a lot of that chatter earlier today of just failure comments from the fan base. And I think we need to slow down a little bit on that, because they are still a postseason team every single year, which is not what most fan bases can say.
Right.
Let's go to Ruben, who said, okay, for FanMail Friday, if there's time, can either of you carve a turkey while live streaming an episode? I don't know that I know how to do that.
No, my mom has never allowed me to touch a turkey. She's always the one that carves the turkey. My dad used to be the one to carve the turkey, and then since he passed away, she carved the turkey.
I feel like that's a male thing, right?
And our tradition every year is she picks up the big knife and she imitates Crocodile Dundee saying, "That's not a knife. That's a knife." Holds up the big knife. Or
we fry the turkey, or you guys bake it?
She She usually gets a turkey breast because there's only 4 of us. We don't do a full
okay,
turkey
yeah.
because it's too much. We would have leftovers for 3 months if we got a full turkey. But I think I'm going to have to start, or maybe we might have to get my brother to do it because, mom's going to be 79. She's getting a little, I don't know if I trust her with the big knife anymore. So maybe this Thanksgiving I'll be doing the carving, and maybe I will. Maybe I'll set up my phone and do a live stream.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
For sure. Definitely looking forward to Thanksgiving. I don't carve anything.
Yeah. I do the sides. I make the sides on Thanksgiving. I did Brussels sprouts gratin, which was basically like potato gratin, but with Brussels sprouts. Really, really good. I've done cornbread. What else have I done? I've done other, like, that's my jam. I do the sides for the dinner.
I see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Biggest part of Thanksgiving.
Hmm?
One of the bigger parts of Thanksgiving are the
Yes,
sides.
the sides really make the meal because turkey's boring.
Turkey's a dry meat and it's not fun anyway.
Yeah, but the sides are really what you
Sides
want
are very important. Not as important as football, but they're close.
Right. All right, so now we're moving on to our YouTube questions. Thank you to all the insiders. This is from New York Greek Firefighter. What was the time and moment for you when you realized the Yankees will be your favorite team? That moment for me at 8 years old was the 1976 ALCS when Chris Chambliss hit the pennant-winning home run that sent the Yankees to the World Series. The excitement along with watching the fans storm the field did it for me. All this at a hospital while waiting for my mom to give birth to my sister.
That's a pretty cool memory. I don't think I have a moment. It's kind of just like in my blood. Like I didn't have an option, I don't think.
Yeah, I didn't really have an option. I was the firstborn, so I would sit with my dad and watch like every sport on TV. So I basically
Do you think it's bad parenting to not give your kid an option of what team they root for?
No.
I agree. Yeah, like
because I would have done the same thing if I had a kid.
Yeah, and my if God willing, if I have a future child, like my child will have no option. It's football. I'll let them pick because I don't want my family traditionally are Jet fans. And I don't want to subject my child to that. But that's borderline child abuse. But my kid will have no option when it comes to the Yankees and the Rangers, just particularly the Rangers. If my child comes to me and says they're an Islander fan, it would legitimately ruin me as a parent. I would consider myself a failure as a parent. So there are options in life that my child will not have, like things they can't choose for themselves. Sports teams are definitely one of them. Let's go to Griffin _233. He says the Yankees have a top 5 hitter of all time towards the end of his prime. That doesn't come around often, even with free agency. They need to be aggressive while they still can. The LA deferrals are the team to beat and the team that doesn't cheap.
And that doesn't come cheap.
Yeah. I want to hear your opinion on this, on the Judge thing for sure, but the LA deferrals thing. How do you feel about that?
You know me with contracts and money. I don't understand any of that stuff.
I wish the Yankees would do it. I
do too.
I'm not going to give them flack for deferring every contract. Hey, guess what? They get every player they want.
They're being smart about it.
Yeah, they get every player they want.
And it's funny that Hal complains about that. That Hal is like, oh, what are the Dodgers doing? You could do the same thing, Hal. And you can make the Yankees so much better, and you choose not to.
Yeah. So that I don't agree with. But go to the Judge thing then.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's going to be 34, right, in April, which is crazy to think about.
But as it ever surprised, the argument, the pushback I'd have, I guess, is the stuff that he does on the field. Like, when does it not miraculous to you? When does it not stun you?
Right.
So, like, would it be shocking if he has another 4 years of just elite play?
Right. If he stays healthy.
Yeah. Like, why would that surprise you? He's done nothing short of surprise you throughout his entire career. So we expect anything less.
Right. Our last question of this segment is from Kevin Sweeney. Do you think Judge's elbow can heal with rest? We found that out in the press conference. Yeah. It should be able to.
They do.
And he has some show ideas. First one, Skeens will look good in pinstripes. Anything in Yankees history. There is a lot, obviously. And rating available bullpen arms. He says the playoffs are ending quickly, or the playoffs ended quickly, Yankees, which meant he had to scramble to finish his book.
Yeah, I don't think there's a chance that Paul Skeens has ever seen Yankee pinstripes. Their pitching staff is just there's too much on it right now, and I don't think they're going to play in those waters when it comes to contract.
No. I mean, would it be nice? Yes, but no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, they got their white whale in Garrett Cole.
Yeah. Former Pirate by way of
Yeah.
Houston, Garrett Cole.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Paul Skeens is long for Pittsburgh.
Right.
I just don't know if he's going to finish it up. I don't know if he's going to appear in the Yankee uniform either.
Right.
I will say this. They would have a shot, though, because if he winds up marrying Livy Dunn, I think New York is appealing to the two of them. But also, I think LA is appealing to the two of them also.
But New York could be Mets, too. Because
Yeah,
Steve
and
Cohen
I think there's a better chance of that happening.
Yeah. Always forget about that.
Yep.
All right, coming up, one more Fan Mail Friday question, and we'll discuss the ALCS and the NLCS because they are still happening as we're recording this. So we'll talk about all that next.
What's up, guys? The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer that you are not going to want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Now, I love using FanDuel, and I love how it gives me so many ways to play. I've built parlays, tried player props, and even followed the live lines during the games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you got a little action riding on the games. And whether you're a casual fan or you love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. I like a few picks this week. I like the Eagles to bounce back against the Vikings. I also like them to bounce back next week against the Giants. But how about the Carolina Panthers? I just said that I was a Jets fan before. I think there's a good chance the Carolina Panthers, who have played better football over the last couple of weeks, are going to go in and beat the lowly Jets because it can only get worse if you're a Jet fan, right? And it's getting there. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com right now to download the FanDuel app today and get started. All right, Stacey, the last question of this week's Fan Mail Friday. As a reminder, you can get it in for every Friday we do the episode, and we're welcoming everything. Personal questions, relationship advice, diet advice. Me and Stacey both like the Peloton. Statements, general comments, questions, concerns, anything you guys want. We are here to answer. Let's go to Casey Cotreau, who is a weekly. Now that the Yankees are eliminated from the playoffs, who do you see going to the World Series? What moves would you like to the Yankees make, both realistic and wishful thinking?
Well, the Dodgers are definitely going to the World Series. And I don't know about, I really think that, I feel like even though everyone thinks momentum is on the Blue Jay side, and it certainly feels that way right now as we're heading into Game 5, I think Seattle can pull this off. I think they can pull off the whole winning everything on the road thing in this series. For some reason, I have no idea why, but I feel like they can.
It's very weird the way that series has gone, just because Seattle felt like coming back to the West Coast, Seattle had all the momentum after beating Toronto in 2 games there, and then all of a sudden Toronto takes game 3 and 4. I just think Seattle's more talented than Toronto, and it feels like Seattle's got that mojo going with them a little bit. I still think they're going to get there, but it is tough. That Dodger-Brewers series is upsetting from a Brewers perspective, though. I mean, the Brewers have so much talent. Like what the heck? What the heck? It's frustrating. It is.
And why can't Christian Yelich do anything in the playoffs? What's with him?
Yeah, where's that narrative?
Well, it's because he's in Milwaukee. No one cares.
Perhaps,
if he was a Yankee, no one would stop talking about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
it's frustrating.
Let's talk about Max Scherzer, because maybe the key to Max Scherzer is not have him pitch for a couple weeks because he's old, right? So he gets enough rest.
Needed the rest.
His arm is feeling good. And then he comes out and pitches like he's 10 years younger. Maybe that was the secret.
He was electric.
He was amazing.
Locating in perfect positions. The velocity was there. He was terrific. I will say one thing. I might come across as like a party pooper here, but I really don't kind of care. This whole thing that's been happening lately with the manager going out, like Schneider did this in the game.
Yeah.
Where he comes out to talk to Scherzer, and Scherzer yells at him and tells him to go back. Can we stop with that? Like, because now every team does it, and every pitcher, and it's like it feels like it's such a contrived thing to like build momentum in the ballpark and get the crowd involved. Enough. This is not Mike Messina and Joe Torre. Like this is not back in those days where pitchers were doing that commonly. Because Boone did it in the postseason with Rodon, when he walked out and did the whole fake tough guy, I'm taking you out thing, and then Rodon was like no and argued for it, and then Boone walked back. Enough. We get it. Find another way to contrive momentum. I'm getting sick. Now every pitcher does it, Stacey. Every pitcher tells their manager, no, I don't want to come out. Like, I'm kind of sick of it.
So this was a funny quote that I saw. Ben Nicholson Smith, who is a Toronto writer, said that IKF, this is a quote from IKF, this is on what he felt during the Schneider-Scherzer mound visit. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah.
I was nervous. I'm always nervous around Max when he's pitching. I was told not to touch him, not to talk to him. And for me to see that fire and for him to finish the inning, I think that was the coolest part.
Yeah, I know.
So that's cool. His teammates are terrified of him.
Well, Mad Max, that's what he got. That's what he's always gone by. So I mean,
it's also the eyes too, because he has the
different colored eyes. Yeah,
the different color eyes. Yeah,
that is a condition of some sort. I don't know. I forgot what it's called, but it's
heterochromia.
I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. He's a Hall of Famer. It is kind of creepy.
Well, because one's brown, one's blue. Because you can also have, I know someone who has a hazel eye, and then his other eye is half hazel, half green, and it's almost split down the middle. It's really cool when you look at him.
That's actually kind of cool. But the blue and the Max Scherzer one is
and it's like a dark brown eye too.
Yeah.
Like he has dark brown eyes like I do.
It looks like the iRobot eye. Like the Terminator eye, where like there's no pupil to it.
You know who people thought had that? David Bowie, but he didn't. He had a blown out pupil because he had an injury in his eye. So one of his eyes always looked darker than the other one. It was because his pupil was always open.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that generation of pitcher has gone away a little bit. The starter who you can't talk to on game day. I kind of want that back.
Although Cole sort of seems that way in a way, because he gets a little nuts on the mound too. Like when they tried to take him out in was that Houston? He was the one on the mound in Houston that one.
But he gets to do that. Yeah. Like him I get, and like Max Scherzer to a degree also. But I hate how it's every pitch. Every manager does this now. Every pitcher. Like because what's annoying is every single manager has their mind made up as they're walking out there because they
already know they're not going to take them out.
Yeah, they always put the arm up as they're halfway to the mound. So if you're not going to put the arm up, don't walk out there. Just let the guy figure, or go out there for a meeting. That's totally fine. But stop with the "I'm going to take you out" and then let the guy fight, and then be like, you know what, stay in so the crowd goes. No.
Well, is that sort of like is that a way for them to get them fired up to make them think that they're going to take them out and get them all hyped up, and then
they know too when they don't see the arm go up, I'm going to stay in. Like it's easy to fight back when you know you're not going to come out of the game. And what pitcher is also going to say, no, I'm good, I'll come out.
Like it's not a strategy for them to do that. They're just being dramatic.
No professional athlete who's competitive is going to be like, you know what? I'm good. I'll sit. That's never going to happen.
Please take me out. I need to get. I need to go.
Don is never going to be like, you know what? I'm a little tired. He's always going to stay in.
Yeah, you're right. I don't feel like I could pitch to this guy. All right, let's go.
Yeah, that's never going to happen. I'm sick of the contrived. Like if a moment like the Mike Messina moment is a real moment because he's looking for Torrey to get to the dugout steps. And as soon as Torrey gets to the first step, Messina's like, no, get back in that dugout. So like that one is real, but the whole like watching Boone walk out to the mound.
But that was also silly because Moose was in the 9th inning. He was not slowing down. There was absolutely no reason for Torrey to take him out.
Agreed. But but also back then it happened 3 times a year. Now it happens once a week. Where I got to watch a highlight on MLB Network of like, look at this, the manager.
And it's always someone coming to take a guy out in like the 6th inning. It's not the 9th inning anymore.
Enough. Like, not every player should have the carte blanche to do this, but B, like, why does every manager trying to contrive these? It's like Boone does this all the time when arguing with the umps, where he should create a moment where enough. Like, the shtick is silly at this point. That's at least my rant for the day.
All right. Well, the week is over. This is basically a bonus show because we already had a traditional Friday show. So thank you guys for sticking around for this. And thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen every day. For your second listen, find the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night until the World Series champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you will see Brian because he hosts the show.
On Sunday nights.
Yep. All right, so that's going to do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys on Monday.